Hello, welcome back to Blaine County Roleplay's Community's new computer-aided dispatch setup. Today I'll be taking you through the police side, the fire side, and the civilian side of the new computer-aided dispatch and how it all works, and the advancements we've made just so it works with our community. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it works. So first off, we'll be previewing the civilian side where, as you'll be able to see in a minute, you can go ahead and register a vehicle. Register a civilian, or report a vehicle stolen. I'm going to go ahead and register a vehicle here in a moment, because as you can see, I already have a character registered, John Marston. If I wanted to, I could register a character that was that I hadn't created by clicking Add New, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and select John. So as you see here, we have the DMV, the Bureau of Firearms, warrants, edit info, switch character, and CAD. Currently, CAD is not functional. However, we also have Twatter, which if you scroll on it, you can see here, these are all actual people. And since this has been up, these are what has been posted. Now, we'll go ahead and register a vehicle. You have the ability to register a vehicle. This isn't actually one of my vehicles, so I'm just going to go ahead and put in some random numbers here. The Class A white. Once the, we'll go ahead and copy and paste this down because we're going to need it later. Once the vehicle is registered, you can report it stolen if it were to ever go missing. As you can see, one of mine has gone missing, so it's reported stolen. I can click that and it will take that notice off for law enforcement, or I can click this so it will notify them that it is missing. You can also go here, set your license to valid, expired, or to be suspended. All this is controlled by the civilian themselves. However, it can also be controlled by law enforcement should they choose to do so. Now, you've seen everything that you can do with with registered vehicles. However, you can also do this. You can delete registered vehicles or edit them should you choose to do so. Now you've seen everything. We'll now go ahead and look at warrants. Warrants are placed by the civilian on themselves, but once again can also be done by law enforcement. Here you can see that there's been a warrant issued for John Marston. I've put in the reason. The reason will be for not assessed. And the filer will be not known at this time. The department filing will be the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. The issuing time will be that of Western Standard Time, or Pacific Standard Time. And we will create the warrant. You can also switch characters. In this case, it's not applicable to myself because I do not have a character to switch to. If you wanted to, you could go to the Bureau of Firearms, register a firearm. I have already registered a pistol, so I won't be showing you how that works in this sense. But if you wanted to, you could click pistol, then register firearm. View own firearms. I have two, a heavy pistol and a combat pistol. Once registered, it will give you your own unique number, SA, with, I believe it's a 7-digit code. And then you can also report a stolen firearm. I have none pending, but it's the same idea as report a stolen vehicle. CAD is not currently functional, as I believe I said earlier. So that wraps up the civilian portion. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the law enforcement section. Now, the law enforcement section is, it's not tricky, but it's dependent on whether you have a subdivision or not. This will pop up based on whether you are in an active subdivision or not. I'm part of the K9 division, so it may pop up for me at time to time. Now, we go ahead and go over what all this means real quick. Active officers, obviously the officers that are active while you're active. Active calls are call pending. Reports, I'll go over that real quickly. Go ahead and look at this. If I were to write a traffic warning for someone, such as my John Marston character. John Marston, 19 Mirror Park Drive, Los Angeles County, San Andreas, 5698. Or 988, excuse me. And then, like I said, we need that license plate later. Registered owner is John Marston. The current street name, we'll just say it's Route 68 for right now, just to make things a bit simpler for us. And we'll say that they were speeding. And we can sign and submit. It will take a minute to update, but once it's updated, you can go ahead and click out. Same goes with any of these. All of these are viewable on the dispatcher side, so they'll know what's happened in the past with the individual. Arrest report, I'm not going to fill this one out, but I'll let you take a look at it. Same general idea as the other form, as well as a traffic ticket. Actually, I just let you look at that, sorry. Written warning is what I meant to go ahead and look at, so let's pop that back up and take a look. It's the same idea as a traffic ticket, just in the form of a written warning, and then we also have an incident report, which is a police report. So moving on from that, we have the patrol map, which it does take a moment to load. Once it's loaded, it has postal codes all around the city, which is very easy for law enforcement to get around and identify their exact area to other officers and also dispatch. For example, ignore that. For example, if I am on Marina Drive, I'm going to identify as 857 as opposed to just saying Marina Drive. Very useful function for law enforcement. 10 codes, just your basic 10 codes. And then we have the plate database, which I'm going to show you, and that's why we kept that license plate from earlier. And there we have the marked as stolen because we marked it as stolen in the civilian database. Comes back as a Class A Virgo, white, valid insurance, registered owner, John Marston. In the name database, we can put John Marston. And we can create a warrant, write a arrest report, write a ticket, issue a warning, and there's our warrant that we put out on ourselves earlier. And you'll also see when creating a character in the civilian CAD that you have the option to put a picture of yourself in the civilian registration. This is where that will go. It'll go on your little identification here. And the firearm database basically works the same way. So moving on from the police CAD, go ahead and log out of that. Click patrol. Actually, we will go back into law enforcement for a moment. I got to show you guys one thing that I'd like to show you. No active subdivision at this time. If I go 1041.10.8, the dispatcher on my side will be able to attach me to a call. It does make a pretty cool sound. So I'm going to wait for the dispatcher on my side to go ahead and dispatch me out to a call. They'll be so kind to do so. May have to wait for a moment. Actually, if they don't do it here in a minute, we'll just go and do something else. I think that's what we'll do. So what I'm going to go ahead and show you guys now is the dispatch side of things, so what the dispatchers are working with. And as you see, it can take a little bit of a moment to get going and whatnot, but so we're now in the dispatch CAD, and what you have here is you have everything that you'll need as a dispatcher to find out information about your units. So for example, you have the call origin, which can be fire EMS related, officer related, or a 911 caller related, or a relation. I'm going to put 911 caller. We have our officer who's on duty here who will be receiving the call. We have the location, we'll say Route 68. And we also have the postal code, so we'll say 987. Primary officer is going to be 2 Paul 72. Just takes a minute for some of these officers to pop up in the CAD. Oh, he's already assigned, so I have to take him off of that. There we go. And then we'll say it's a 1010 fight in progress. 2 males fighting over a burger. The test call that I've been using for this. He'll go out and he'll get it. And you'll notice here that when you come down here, call activity will notify me once he's 97 and once he's 23 on scene. He has those buttons on his MDT, which we just saw, so it'll notify me in the call activity once he's there. And if I wanted to, I could attach a fire unit as well, but I don't need to do that right now. And if he needed to alert me of something, he could also type it here. Male has a firearm. Obviously, the radio is the quicker realm of communication, but if he needed to communicate with me that way, he could do so as well. So on to some cooler stuff. Well, you have stopwatches, pit timer, and other timers for other things. Stopwatch can go for 5 minutes or 15 minutes. Obviously, dispatch has the plate and person database, also the call archive, which I won't be looking at right now. And then we have Signal 100, which I'm going to put on here for a moment. Hopefully you guys can hear it. So it'll give you about 3 or 4 little beeps, and then it'll continue beeping for the duration of your emergency that prompted the Signal 100 to begin with. So moving down a little bit here, if I can go further down. There's also a 10-3 button, which does effectively the same thing, just as a louder beep. So moving on from this. Going to fire and EMS, you can name your apparatus. We'll be going in as Engine 1. I have not made all my identifiers yet, so we can't look at that. We can't look at that as accurate quite yet. Fire MDT on this end is relatively simple. You have your patrol map, which we've already looked at. and then